Welcome to Yeshua Call. Today we embark on a journey that challenges one of the most misunderstood concepts in Christianity, the will of God. For many years, perhaps even for generations, countless believers have lived with a distorted view of God's will, seeing it as something burdensome, rigid, limiting, and full of suffering. They imagine God's will as a dull path of self-denial, blind obedience, and the absence of joy, as though God himself delights in watching people struggle. But what if that idea is wrong? What if we have been tricked into believing something God never said? What if, instead of a prison, God's will is actually the space where we finally breathe? What if the true will of God is not a heavy weight we drag behind us, but the very essence of why we were created? This might sound strange, especially if everything you were taught about God's will involves sacrifice, hardship, and strict religious duties. But today, stay with this message, because what you will discover is going to challenge everything you thought you knew about God, life, purpose, and why you exist. I encourage you to resist the temptation to jump to conclusions or switch away. There is something here for you, and if you listen carefully, you may unlock the very reason your soul has been restless. You may realize that the questions you've been asking for years, or the struggles you haven't understood in your life, are tied to a truth that was always in front of you, but hidden by misconceptions, religious guilt, and tradition. Before we dive deeper, do something important. Like this video, subscribe to Yeshua Call right now, and boldly declare who you are by commenting below the words, "I am made perfect by God." Say it with conviction. Speak it as identity, not as wishful thinking, not as a confession born out of fear, but as a declaration of truth, because what we are about to explore will show you why that statement isn't arrogance, it's design. Now let's begin this journey. Most people, especially religious Christians, misunderstand what God's will really means. And when I say religious Christians, I am not referring to people who love God. No, I'm referring to people who cling to traditions more than truth, to rituals more than revelation, to systems more than spirit. These are the ones who imagine God as a stern old being seated far in the heavens, arms folded, face tightened, eyes watching every move, waiting for a mistake so he can punish. To them, doing God's will means waking up on Sunday morning because it is Sunday, wearing their best clothes because everyone expects it, going to church, listening to a sermon, returning home, and feeling satisfied because they have checked the spiritual box for the week. But is that really God's will? Is Christianity a weekly obligation? Is purpose a checklist of rituals? Is God so small that his will can be fulfilled in a building made by hands? Is his design so shallow that once you attend a service, he applauds and says, "Yes, you have done my will"? Such thinking is not only shallow, it is ignorance dressed as devotion. I know this mindset very well because I once lived inside it. I used to think God's will was all about becoming a preacher, about preaching every day, about never enjoying life, about denying myself every joy that existence had to offer. I was taught that suffering was the evidence of true holiness. If you were poor, you were spiritual. If you were sick, God was testing you. If you smiled too much, something was wrong with your walk with God. I believed that happiness and holiness were enemies, that pleasure was a temptation, and that joy was a distraction. I thought God wanted a gray, lifeless existence. But the more I walked with God, the more I discovered that this belief was not only narrow, it was a complete misunderstanding of who God is and what his will truly represents. God's will is not a prison. God's will is not a cage. God's will is not the removal of joy. It is rather the essence of our being, the blueprint of our existence, the reason we were born, the intention behind our design. God's will is not something we drag ourselves into. It is something we awaken to. And to understand this, we must understand purpose. We humans have a will for everything we create. A mobile phone is created with a will, that is, a purpose, to enable communication wherever we are. A television has a will, to display images for entertainment or information. A desktop computer has a will, to sit in an office and process information. Our shoes have a will, to be worn on the feet for movement and protection. Now imagine trying to stir a pot of soup with your shoe. Imagine brushing your teeth with a toilet brush. Imagine using your toothbrush to scrub the floor. These images are comical, even absurd, Because they violate something deep within us, the instinctive understanding of purpose. When we misuse an object, we don't just fail to accomplish our task, we damage the object, frustrate the process, and disrupt order. A shoe is not designed for soup. A toilet brush is not designed for teeth. And a toothbrush cannot scrub a floor effectively. Why? Because purpose determines use, and use outside purpose creates dysfunction. This is how life works. Just like objects, people also have purpose. Every human being is not random. You are not an accident. You are not a coincidence. You are not a mistake. You exist because your existence is necessary. You are a part of something larger than you can see. You are a piece in a divine arrangement. You have a function in God's great design. Some people are created to speak, others to build. Some are designed to create systems, others to nurture. Some are born to lead multitudes, others to guide one soul. Some are spoons, some are lamps, some are chairs, some are racks, and some are toilet brushes. None is superior, all are necessary. And listen carefully. The value of a thing is not in its title, but in its usefulness. We live in a culture that celebrates titles and ignores function. People desire recognition, not responsibility. They want applause, not alignment. They want to be preachers, apostles, prophets, bishops, CEOs, not because they were designed for it, but because they think value lies in visibility. But hear this truth. The most important object in a house is not the most glamorous one. It is the one that fulfills its role. A mop may never sit in the living room, but without it, the living room becomes uninhabitable. A toilet brush may never be seen by guests, but without it, no one would want to enter that room. There is no such thing as an insignificant purpose. Now there are varieties of gifts, but the same Spirit. There are varieties of service, but the same Lord. 1 Corinthians 12:4-5. When we step outside our purpose, when we try to be what God did not design us to be, we create disorder. We not only fail in our mission, we obstruct others. It's like using a spoon to hammer a nail. The spoon doesn't just fail the nail, it fails itself. The nail remains outside the wall, and the spoon becomes bent out of shape. But the moment we align with our purpose, everything flows, everything fits, everything connects. And life, instead of being a struggle, becomes a rhythm. Now imagine your home. Every item in your home has a role. Your chair for sitting, your spoon for eating, your television for watching, your mop for cleaning, your broom for sweeping. Individually, these items have distinct responsibilities, but together they create order, comfort, harmony, and balance. Now imagine the whole earth as God's house. Every person on earth is like an item in that house, each one holding a role that contributes to the functionality of God's design. Some are chairs, others spoons, others lamps, others racks. There is no superiority, only responsibility, because without one, something is missing. If God made you a toilet brush, rejoice, because without you, cleanliness disappears. If God made you a spoon, be the finest spoon. If He made you a lamp, illuminate your space. If He made you a chair, hold others up. The value of your existence is not in comparison with another assignment. The moment you start competing with someone else's calling, you lose sight of your own. You are not here to be someone else. You are here to be yourself in the will of God. Let's take this deeper. Imagine you are sent on a mission to deliver a confidential folder to a governor for his signature. You arrive at the government house with seriousness, urgency, and a sense of destiny. But when you arrive, the guards tell you the governor is not around. He will return in 3 days. They lodge you in a luxurious hotel while you wait. This hotel is not ordinary. The meals are delicious. The environment is peaceful. There are playgrounds, swimming pools, warm people, friendly children, and beautiful places to take pictures. It is paradise on earth. While you are waiting, some of the governor's children invite you to play, to eat, to explore, to talk, to laugh. Would you refuse? Would you look at them and say, "No, I must deliver the folder before I enjoy myself. I am here on assignment"? Of course not. Why? Because the mission is not yet due. The time has not come. You carry the mission in your heart, but you can still enjoy the blessings around you. Then on the 3rd day, the governor returns. You go to him. You present the folder. He signs the document. The mission is complete. And listen, once the mission is done, you are dismissed. You cannot stay in the house anymore. The assignment that justified your presence has ended. Your time is over. This is life. Earth is the waiting room. The mission is the will of God. The hotel is the world we live in. The food, the people, the laughter, the beauty, the experiences. These are not temptations. They are blessings. God is not offended when you enjoy life. He is offended only when pleasure replaces purpose. The problem is not joy. The problem is losing focus. Some people die young because their assignment was completed. Their mission was delivered. God does not measure life by length. God measures life by purpose. The question is never how long did you live? The question is always, did you finish what you were born to do? A person who dies at 20 may have fulfilled destiny. A person who lives to 90 may never have begun. This changes everything about how we see life and death. It dismantles the idea that long life equals favor. It dismantles the belief that youth equals incompletion. Purpose is not measured in years, it is measured in obedience. Now, how do we know God's will? How do we discern the path? How do we avoid wasting years wandering in circles? God reveals his will through 4 interconnected channels: circumstance, place, people, and time. Circumstances are often the first indicators of divine direction. When things begin to go wrong, doors close, plans fail, relationships break, and your comfort zone is shaken, do not panic. It may not be punishment, it may be redirection. Circumstances whisper, leave here, go there, call this person, change direction. They push you toward purpose. Joseph's story is the perfect example. His brothers sold him into slavery. He was betrayed, accused, imprisoned, yet every seemingly negative event was leading him to Egypt, where he would become ruler, preserve nations, and save his family. What looked like disaster was divine transportation. It was not the devil destroying him. It was God positioning him. You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. Genesis 50:20. When life seems chaotic, do not be deceived. God is arranging details. Pain is sometimes an invitation. Loss is movement. Rejection is relocation. Failure is acceleration. When God wants you out of a place, he makes it uncomfortable. Comfort is a sign of completion. Chaos is a sign of transition. Circumstances lead you into places. Every divine assignment is tied to a location. A seed cannot grow everywhere. It needs the right soil. You cannot fulfill your destiny in every environment. Purpose is geographical. Abraham had to leave his country. Jonah had to go to Nineveh. Elijah was told to hide by the brook Cherith. Jesus was born in Bethlehem, raised in Nazareth, died in Jerusalem. Destiny is always tied to a place. This means you can be the right person in the wrong environment and still fail. You can carry destiny but be planted in wrong soil. The wrong company, wrong city, wrong relationship, wrong atmosphere can suffocate purpose. You may cry and pray, but until you move to the right place, nothing changes. But the moment you arrive at the place God ordained, doors open without effort. Opportunities align. The right connections appear. You feel life again. You breathe again. Because place unlocks purpose. In that place, you meet people. God uses people as divine connectors. Some are carriers of your destiny. Some open doors. Some teach, some test, some transform. Every person you meet is part of a script greater than you. Moses led Israel. Mary birthed the Messiah. Ananias restored Saul. People are not random. Every connection is intentional. Some people are not distractions, they are instructions. Some people are not mistakes, they are bridges. Some people come to remove blindness, others to create it. Some come to bless, some to break, some to build, some to expose. But here is the secret. You never meet the right people until you are in the right place. This is why some relationships collapse. They were born in the wrong environment. Right people appear only in the place assigned for your destiny. When your circumstances align, God uses a person to unlock the next phase. Finally, even if you are the right person in the right place with the right people, there is still the matter of time. Time is delicate. Time is the currency of purpose. Time decides manifestation. Jesus was born at the fullness of time, not early, not late. You can have the right dream but pursue it in the wrong season and fail. Purpose requires patience. Immaturity destroys destiny prematurely. Sometimes time moves ahead of you. You must run. Sometimes you move too fast. You must wait. Timing is not delay, it is design. Every delay has meaning. Every waiting season is preparation. Some assignments take seconds. Some take decades. The greater the destiny, the longer the preparation. Time is the womb of purpose. And when the womb is ready, manifestation is inevitable. Circumstances, place, people, and time operate like gears in a clock. One turns the other. When all four align, destiny unfolds like water released from a dam. But when one gear is out of sync, life feels off balance. This is why relationships fail. You can have the right partner at the wrong time. You can meet the right person but lack emotional maturity, financial readiness, or spiritual grounding. Purpose collapses, not because it was wrong, but because timing exposed your unreadiness. Many people curse what was never meant to bless them at that season. They blame God for what they broke through premature action. God never fails, timing does. The will of God doesn't always arrive dressed in good news. Sometimes it comes disguised in pain. The death of a loved one may be the divine sign for movement. A heartbreak may be the redirection into purpose. A closed door may be the opening to destiny. Life makes no sense up close. When you look too closely at the brushstrokes of a painting, all you see are random colors, dark, bright, scattered, messy. But when you step back, the image appears. The chaos becomes beauty. The pain becomes purpose. The darkness becomes depth. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. Romans 8:28. All things, not some things, not good things, all things. So while you pursue God's will, never forget this. God does not forbid joy. God delights in your joy. Joy is holy when it flows from purpose. Life is not a punishment. Life is a playground before mission fulfillment. You are meant to explore, learn, dance, laugh, travel, take pictures, build friendships, enjoy creation, enjoy existence. God is not intimidated by your laughter. He is not offended by your delight. Pleasure was not created by the devil. It was created by God. But pleasure must remain within purpose. The moment enjoyment replaces assignment, delay begins. The moment distraction replaces direction, destiny slows. Life is a gift, but gifts come with responsibility. Because one day, time will expire. The folder will be delivered. The mission will be complete. And when the signature is placed, there will be no more playground. No more time to play with the governor's children. No more earthly expression. Those who live in God's will die smiling, not with regret, but with fulfillment. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he shall give you the desires of your heart. Psalm 37:4. God's will is not against pleasure. God's will sanctifies pleasure. It gives meaning to desire. It turns joy into worship. So think of yourself as a spoon in God's kitchen. You are not lifeless. You are not without choice. You have will inside his will. God's will gives you direction. Your will gives you decision. You can rest, talk, interact, laugh, explore, and enjoy existence. But when the master reaches for you, be ready. A spoon cannot tell the master when to use it, but a spoon can choose to remain in the kitchen. If you leave the kitchen, you cannot blame God for irrelevance. Stay where you belong. Stay in purpose. Stay in alignment. Enjoy your place, but be available when destiny calls. Life is both duty and delight. This is the balance we were never taught. Religion removed delight, pleasure removed duty. God restores both, and when both meet, purpose becomes joy. The will of God is not a rigid command. It is not a straight line. It is a divine partnership, a dance between divine intention and human participation. It is the beautiful intersection of circumstances, places, people, and time. It is chaotic yet ordered, unpredictable yet perfect, mysterious yet clear. It is the art of living purposefully while enjoying existence. It is alignment, not confinement. It is freedom, not restriction. It is fulfillment, not frustration. To know God's will is to live fully. To walk in God's will is to trust deeply. To embrace God's will is to walk courageously, believing that every person, every place, every circumstance, and every moment is painting the masterpiece of your destiny. When things align in God's design, heaven and earth meet in your life, and the purpose of God for your existence unfolds like a divine script written before time began. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Matthew 6:10. If this message has opened your eyes, stirred something inside you, shifted your thinking, or brought clarity to your soul, then do something right now that aligns with your purpose. Like this video, subscribe to Yeshua Call, and comment boldly and prophetically, I am made perfect by God. Declare it, own it, live it. For the will of God is not far from you. It is inside you. And the moment you align with it, the world will see what heaven already knows. You were not born to exist. You were born to fulfill.